Opening line, July 1st, 2021. Excuse the tardiness. I was having some technical difficulties. I am riding solo today because of those difficulties. My speakers weren't working as I plugged in a new monitor, and everything kind of went haywire. So we're going to give it a go as solo today. Frank was supposed to be on, but we're still going to have plays at the action here from EliteSportsBetting.com. As always, we are streaming on Twitch at Elite Betting, and we are on YouTube, Elite Sports Network. Give us a follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. You will find replays for these videos. If you do miss them, they're posted there as well. So let's get into first action here. Miami and Philly, Pablo Lopez on the mound, and Zach Eflin going for the Phillies. Eflin minus 122 favorite. Total in this one 7.5, a little bit juice to the over. Eflin's been tricky for me. You know, his ERA is not something that you would say is a good pitcher. He's not bad, 4.2, you know, right around probably an average mark, if you will. But I do think he's better than that. We look at, you know, some other underlying metrics here: 3.67 xERA, 3.54 FIP. There's reasons to believe that he's better than what we're getting out of him. Now, when you're playing the Phillies, you always have to worry about that bullpen. Bullpen didn't blow the game last night. Nola had a good start, but Pablo Lopez 2.87 ERA. I don't think he's that good. xERA 3.39 and FIP is 3.27. So still a good pitcher so far this year. But I do think he's a little overrated. Philly at home, I think there's a slight pitcher difference here. Pablo Lopez might be slightly better. I'm getting the better lineup with Philly. Slightly worse pitcher, probably the worst bullpen. But at home, I think this number is short. I played Philly minus 122 in this one. That number is still widely available. People might be gun-shy to bet the Phillies because of that offense, but you can still get minus 122 to minus 125. I think you're good, probably up to the upper 120s, maybe 130. That's probably the max that I would go to. But again, like I said, I don't think these pitchers are that different. Eflin might be a little bit worse, but that's really it. I think that's the difference that we're seeing here. And getting a better lineup, Phillies at home. Give me the Phillies at minus 122. Like I said, still available. We'll see if we get some Marlins money like we did, or we didn't get. We got some buyback after yesterday. That went up to 240, but I think the Phillies think this number gets steamed up into the 130s by game time at 6:05 Eastern time tonight. The total in this one's 7.5, juiced a little bit to the over. My number for that, I lean over with that juice, though, probably about right. So nothing there total wise for me. And again, sticky stuff makes that a little bit tougher to tell. But again, with this Phillies bullpen, that over is never out of reach. With Phillies, how the Phillies bullpen has been the last 2 weeks or so. Next game, Dodgers at Nationals. Tony Gonzalen against Patrick Corbin. Dodgers in this one currently minus 133 on the road. Total in this one 9.5, juice towards the under. Tony Gonzalen got a start to the season a couple weeks ago. I think at the beginning of June. I think maybe mid-June. In between there, 4 starts so far this year, only 13 innings. So I really wouldn't expect much more than that. What's his longest outing? 4. They're building him up. I think he's, you know, in the 4 range. Maybe they can stretch him out to 5. But he's been pretty good. He hasn't given up more than a run in any of his starts. That's actually what he's given up in every start, 1 run. 2.77 ERA. xERA 2.73. His FIP's a little higher than that at 3.7. Ton of strikeouts, 30.5 K percentage so far. Walks are a problem, though. 16.9% walk rate. Not getting hit hard, just like he has his whole career. Doesn't give up barrels. So basically, it's going to take sequencing of hits to beat him because he really does not give up home runs. Career home run for fly ball rate of 6.1. So you're going to have to find a way to get multiple hits against them. And while I do like the top of this Nationals offense, I do not like the bottom half. It's not something that you want to be facing with Gonzalen, because, like I said, you need the home runs. But obviously Schwarber's putting up what he's putting up. Kind of historic run here. Trey Turner's doing good, but like Josh Harrison, Josh Bell, Juan Soto's not projected to be in the lineup today. Let me just you got Josh Harrison at the 3 spot, Yan Gomes at 5, Starlin Castro at 6, Gerardo Parra at 7, Victor Robles at 8. That's not a really good matchup for Gonzalen today. For the Nationals lineup against Gonzalen. So look at the other side, Patrick Corbin. Just off a name, you might think he's been doing better, but 5.33 ERA this year, 5.34 xERA. FIP doesn't get much better at 4.96. He's been getting hit hard. He's given up a lot of home runs. That's really been the issue. Almost a 20% home run to fly ball rate. Against this Dodgers lineup, it's kind of like the opposite of what I was saying with the Nationals here. You got home runs everywhere. Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, and Tony Pollock. AJ Pollock are the bottom 3 in that lineup. Betts, Muncy, Turner, Bellinger, Will Smith, top 5. Not a great lineup. Only concern here for me, I think this number's about right. The problem I have with Gonzalen games is I don't really know how far they're going to let him go. If he's, cruising, are they going to let him go out for the 6th? Or are they going to keep him in that 4 to 5 range? I imagine he goes 4 to 5. I think that's a fair price at minus 133. Wouldn't be shocked if we see some that even tick down a little bit more, but like I said, I think this is a bad matchup for this Nationals lineup. And Corbin, I know the lefties, Muncy and Bellinger kind of get a little neutralized here with the lefty, but Corbin has been just terrible this year. Home runs can be an issue. Again, 77 tonight in Washington at game time. It's cooled down a little bit on the East Coast, not as hot as it's been the last couple of days, so maybe we won't see the crazy runs that we've been seeing. But like I said, I like the matchup for the Dodgers here. No play for me. Total in this one, 9.5, a little bit juicy under. I make it 9.39. So, yeah, nothing there as well. Next game on the board, Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. Corbin Burns on the mound against Will Crow. Pittsburgh returns home after trip out to Coors Field, everybody's favorite park. Corbin Burns, we were wondering how the spin rates, because he was a high spin rate guy. The Brewers claimed that he had that spin rate back in like 2014 at the beginning of the spin rate era. Had some rough starts after 2 rough starts after the news. One was in Colorado though, so I'm not gonna sit here and make any big assumptions. He did face Pittsburgh, gave up 3 runs in 4 innings. Strikeouts are still there though, and his last start at home against Colorado was good. So I don't know. I guess we'll still see. He hasn't faced any good lineups since the Spider Tack sticky stuff crackdown. So his spin rates will be something to watch, and his performance. Arizona, Pittsburgh, and Colorado twice has been who he's faced. Again, I still think he's going to be good. It's just whether he's going to be like top 5 pitcher in baseball good, or if he's just going to be just another good pitcher. Will Crow so far this year for the Pirates in 10 starts, 45 innings. So you're going to get around in between 4 or 5 out of them. He's been pretty bad. 6.5 ERA, 5.73 xERA. His public projection systems have him that pretty bad as well. Steamer is the best at 4.79, but you're getting Zips at 5.89. So, depth charts in the middle there at 5.39. He just walks so many guys. Doesn't get the strikeouts. 19.1 strikeout percentage this year. 10.5% walks. Doesn't get hit hard, but when he does get hit hard, it tends to go out of the park. That being said, I contemplated not playing this and waiting. I played the Pirates at plus 222. Reason that worries and why I said I wanted to wait. These big favorites a lot of time, like Corbin Burns, big name. This number might get inflated. We've seen it come up a little bit. I saw 225. You can get out there. But some spots 212. Or no, sorry, it has come down 215 at some places. So it looks like we're getting into the low. There's still a 222 out there if you want it. Shop around for a line there. I think if you do think that Burns is going to come back down to earth, one, he was going to come back down to earth anyway because his numbers were just outrageous. But he's still a really good pitcher. His BABIP is up at 331. We'll see if that'll continue. I don't know, but it's still a pretty short sample. Only 221 innings in his career, and 2019. I know juice ball era wasn't a good year for him. He was very unlucky, but again, I don't Burns. If you told me he regressed a little bit with this spin rate issue, he's still striking out 39% of batters, 5% walks, doesn't get hit hard. But like we've been saying pretty much every day on opening line, when this Pirates lineup is healthy, Adam Frazier, he's going to be an all-star for the NL. He's gonna be the starting second baseman. Brian Hayes is one of the most exciting young players in the game. Brian Reynolds, I don't know if people know this, but Brian Reynolds has been incredible so far this year for the Pirates. He was fantastic in 2019 in his first full action with the Pirates. He had a 130 WRC plus. Last year struggled mightily with the 72 WRC plus. Not going to make too much of that with COVID. This year, 160 WRC plus so far with Brian Reynolds. Gamble's been okay. Stallings in the lineup. Polanco's always a home run threat. It's going to be in the bottom half of that lineup. We'll see what else we get. Philip Evans projected to go as well. So you're taking a huge pitching deficit here, backing Will Crow over Corbin Burns. But I thought this number was too high. Pirates at home. We're getting home field. It's gonna be a theme on opening line. We're gonna be talking about home field is getting back to the normal levels here. So I think that I think when you look at it, this 222 number, I think it creeps back down. We'll see when lineups come out, see what we really get here, but we should get a full Pirates lineup. They just did have a travel day, but hopefully Stallings in there because the number will move on him. But Pirates at 222 still out there. 215 is probably the limit. I wouldn't go much lower than that. If it is lower, you could probably at wherever you're going to play, probably wait around, see if there's some just Brewers big favorite steam at some point, and you can probably get a number here. But Pirates did just hit Burns 3 starts ago. They scored 3 on him in 4 innings and knocked him out early. So hopefully something like that. Again, today, as I played the Pirates at plus 222. San Diego at Cincinnati. Ryan Weathers going for the Padres. Luis Castillo going for the Reds. Reds currently minus 116, minus 115 in that range. Total in this one, 9.5. I will say the Pirates total is at 8. I made that number 8.06, so no value there. Luis Castillo on the mound as a short favorite for Cincinnati against the Ryan Weathers and the Padres. Weathers has been a very interesting pitcher so far. 2.47 ERA, 4.71 xERA, 4.26 FIP. So he's been pretty lucky. BABIP at 223. That's a very, very low number. Left on base percentage at almost 89%. That is low as well. I'm saying there's going to be some regression coming. Gets hit kind of hard at 43%. Doesn't give up a ton of barrels, though, which is a benefit. Walks are solid. Strikeouts are not what you'd want them to be at about 18, 19%. Looking at game log wise, he's been kind of bouncing back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation. Probably getting a max of 5 out of him. He hasn't gone longer than 5 this year. When he first, he has 5 2/3 in his second start of the year against the Dodgers, which he did pretty well. But he's kind of, I don't know if people are starting to figure him out. He's been hit a little bit more, but he's been really good. Like I said, he's been lucky though. He did face the Cubs in back-to-back starts, and in both of those starts gave up some runs, 4 and 5 innings, and then 3 and 5 innings. This is more of I think he is worse than his numbers are. You're looking at that 2.47 ERA. I think he's probably a low 4s guy. That's what the public projection systems have him at too. But the real edge that I think we're getting in this one is on Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo was horrible to start the year. Still, look at his numbers, 5.14 ERA. Not excited about that, but I walk over to xERA 3.94. I look over at FIP 4.04. So definitely he's a full run better than what his actual results have been. And he really struggled. First start of the year, he gave up 8 runs in 3 1/3. He has another start in Coors, 8 runs, 3 2/3. So just those 2 games alone are going to inflate ERA. And he just wasn't. He's kind of dialed in since his last start in May. He hasn't given up more than 3 in an outing. He's actually been better since the Spider Tack sticky situation memo that came out on June 3rd. He's been plenty good. The strikeouts are coming back. Still walks too many for my liking. If he could figure out those walks, we'd probably see him become a very good pitcher that we've seen the last couple years. Because the strikeouts have dipped this year. That is a concern. But like I said, I do think that we're seeing just Weathers being valued too high. I don't think he's that good of a pitcher. I think Castillo is being valued too low. And that's where the edge is in this one. If you want to say the offenses are pretty close, I'd say that's fair. Put the Reds at home. Again, I played this at minus 114. That's still pretty widely available. Minus 116. I'd probably go up to about 122-ish in that range if you want to hop on the Reds. I played at minus 114. Obviously, if you get anything better than that, go ahead. But like I said, I think Castillo is better than Weathers. I think Weathers has been super lucky this year. Castillo has been super unlucky. Offense is about even. Reds at home. Minus 114 just doesn't make sense for me. Give me the Reds all day at this price. Next game on the board. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out a little bit before 9 o'clock about this one. Mets at Braves, DeGrom against Anderson. The Braves are currently pretty sizable dogs. DeGrom's up to minus 159. So you can get a high 140s price on the Braves. I think this number's a little high. Jacob DeGrom, though, continues to break things and just do ungodly things. I don't really need to spend too much time on him. 0.69 ERA. The xERA is 1.4, but the FIP is 0.99. So, like, is he lucky? Sure. His BABIP is super low, but the problem is, though, like, he just doesn't get hit hard. 34% hard hit rate. He doesn't give up barrels at 6.4%. 44.5 strikeout rate to a 4% walk rate. Infield fly ball rate is at 17.5%. So if you want to put that in there, 65% of his outs are automatic between strikeouts and fly balls. So enough said. Enough said. Mets lineup, they're getting healthier. McNeil, Lindor, Conforto, Alonso at the top. You still got some issues at the bottom. I'm not a huge fan of the bottom half of that lineup. Kind of Braves, obviously, Acuna, Freeman, Albies has been incredible. Austin Riley's been good. Bottom half of the Braves lineup isn't too exciting either. I think I said Chase Anderson. I meant Ian Anderson at the top of this. Ian Anderson's been pretty good. 3.42 ERA, 3.86 xERA, 3.22 FIP. So, his public projection systems have him as a high threes pitcher. I think that's probably fair. Somewhere between there and mid threes, I think is good. 26% strikeouts is his walk is 8.6. I think that's about league average. He gets league average contact. So I think the strikeouts is what's helping him get forward. 283 BABIP this year, 75.7 left on base percentage. So you're not seeing any luck thrown in there. But he gets some ground balls, 51% ground ball pitcher. So that might inflate his hard hit rate a little bit because ground balls are just naturally hit harder than fly balls, just how it is. And obviously they're not expected. His average launch angle this year, 4.5. I think that's a good matchup definitely against a Mets lineup that I'm not going to say they have great hitters. Obviously Alonso has the power. Bunch of those guys at the top. I really like the top 4 of the Mets lineup, but I don't know. We're getting some home field. There are some thunderstorms maybe popping up here. So maybe you get a short DeGrom start. I don't know what the Mets are going to do. DeGrom's had the injury issues so far this year, where I think he's had to come out of 3 starts. So if there's any bit of a delay, maybe they have to pull him out. I don't know. But also, nobody hits the guy, so it's tough. I do think this number is a little short. I haven't played it. This was one like the Pirates I talked about earlier. I'm going to wait to see if there's some DeGrom steam and kind of see how this goes. I'll gladly sit and wait this one out and see if the number gets up. If I lose out on this number, then so be it. Is what it is. I'll gladly. I'm not going to be mad if I am not able to bet against Jacob deGrom in his current form. But like I said, I think that I think this number is short. Total in this one. Where am I looking here? This total's at 7. I have a little bit of a lean to the over. Like I said, the top of these lineups for both teams I like. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm projecting that there's going to be a delay and DeGrom's only going to go 3 or 4 innings, but 7's pretty short. I know DeGrom can throw a 0 here, but I do believe over probably has some value. But again, betting like I said in the tweet, it's like lighting money on fire if you want to go against DeGrom or if you want to bet an over involving DeGrom here. But I do think that number's a tad bit short. Maybe it should be up into the 7.5 range. But no place for me in that one. St. Louis at Colorado. Wainwright against Sensatella. Wainwright minus 123 on the road in Coors Field. Total in this one's 11. We talk about this with this Rockies home field advantage. We touched on it yesterday on the show. They are 28-16 at home. They are 6-31 on the road. They have a huge year in and year out. They have a huge home field advantage this year. I don't know what's going on. If it's the COVID issues, whatever. It might be even bigger this year. I'm not sure. But Colorado, I went ahead and played them. I bet them at plus 110. Probably some better numbers out there right now than that. A couple cents here and there. There's a 114 out there right now. There's a 112. Sensatella stinks. I'll be honest. Like, I'm betting on a bad pitcher here. But again, with this home field, Wainwright's been pretty solid, but this Cardinals lineup is kind of, I don't know, kind of boring. I'm not a fan of them. We do this every year where we think the Cardinals are going to be bad. This is the first year that they're just not sitting there. But I know Yachty's been better. But like Tommy Edman, Lars Nootbaar, Paul DeJong at the bottom of this lineup, like Dylan Carlson, Goldschmidt, Arenado, O'Neill. Like O'Neill's a big home run guy, but I just am not a huge fan. They're going on the road against. Again, not a fan of this Rockies lineup. I'm not going to have much good to say about the Rockies here, other than the fact that they find a way to win at home. They've had a lot of pitchers that have pitched better at home this year. Sensatella is another one of those guys. At home this year in 53 innings, Sensatella has a 307 WOBA. That is above average. On the road this year, Sensatella has a 414 WOBA. That is just absolutely terrible. He would not be in the league if he had to pitch on the road the whole time. I don't know what the Rockies have figured out how to spin pitches better in Coors this year. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something there. Like I said, Wainwright's been pretty good. 3.59 ERA, 3.75 xERA, 3.93 FIP. He's kind of reinvented himself. He's not going to throw very hard. He has the big looping curveball. I don't know how that's going to play in Coors. Give me the Rockies at plus 110, plus 115. I think, again, home field advantage, the lineup. Rockies had the worst lineup. The Rockies had the worst pitcher, but maybe they don't at Coors. Maybe the pitching is better. Like I said, I run the numbers, and I'm having an edge on Sensatella, which makes me want to puke. But I look at his success at home this year. I look at all their pitchers' success at home this year compared to on the road, and I'm starting to think that there's something there. Total in this game is, 11, right? Yeah, just a little bit to the under. I make it 10.89. So nothing there for me. with these two guys. So, like I said, Rockies plus 110. There's some plus 114 out there. I think you're good to play that down to about plus 103, 104 in that range. And I think you're getting a good number. Staying in the NL West, NLS battle between the best record in baseball, San Francisco Giants. Didn't think I'd be saying that on July 1st, but here we are against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cueto against Merrill Kelly. Cueto minus 133 on the road. Total in this one is 9. Admittedly, I don't have too much to say. I think this one is about fair. I was a fan of Cueto early in the year because I was a fan mostly of this Giants team. They've exceeded past where I thought they were. I didn't think they'd be this good. I mean, who did? But Cueto, again, the Giants are a team. They're just getting a lot out of these pitchers. Merrill Kelly's just not good. So I think there's a definite pitching advantage for the Giants here. Lineup advantage as well. But I think why we're seeing this, you might look like, how are the Diamondbacks, plus 125, 120 in that range. Merrill Kelly, there's some reasons to be optimistic about him. He doesn't walk that many guys. He's not getting a ton of strikeouts either, but the walks help. Gets hit, at an average rate. Doesn't give up a ton of barrels, though. You can make an argument that he's been a little unlucky. 4.73 ERA this year compared to a 4.28 xERA and a 3.96 FIP. So sure, maybe he is a little bit unlucky. I'm not going to get too excited backing him, though, because I don't think he's that great. Again, I know Diamondbacks, we talked about Chase Field kind of being a Coors Field light over the past couple of years. Merrill Kelly has been a lot better at home. 287 WOBA at home compared to a 345 WOBA on the road. That is like a pretty good pitcher versus a really bad pitcher. It's not like Sensatello where he's just like maybe a slightly above average pitcher at home versus a horrific pitcher on the road. This is like a good versus a bad pitcher difference so far this year in 2021. Again, air's different in the Chase Field was Coors Field light for a little bit there. I feel like we kind of lost grasp of that. Maybe there's something there to it. I don't know. Like I said, I think this number is about right. Like I said, Giants, better pitcher, better lineup. Diamondbacks at home. We obviously know they can't win on the road, but I think the number's fair. Total in this one is 9 with some juice to the under. Maybe the tiniest of leans. I make this about 8.45. But with that juice, I'm not really getting too involved. But if you do believe Merrill Kelly has figured out something in Chase Field, the under probably, like I said, I lean that way, but nothing, no play for me in that one. Going to the AL here, Angels at Yankees, Griffin Canning against Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery's minus 156 right now. Total in this one is 10, minus 111. You can get some 9.5 juice pretty heavily to the over. I just want to touch on what happened in this Yankees game last night. I was on the Yankees at like minus 126, I believe. They jumped out. Ohtani couldn't throw strikes. I said on on opening line yesterday that I thought that Ohtani wasn't going to. He's a guy that I knew, like, if he's not throwing strikes, you might as well take him out because it's going to get bad. The Yankees could punish him, and they did. They scored 7 quickly. That game was 7-4. There was a couple rain delays. I was just really at the point where I was hoping that they could get through 5 and make it a real game, a full game. I woke up this morning and saw that they gave up 7 in the top of the 9th to blow the game and lose. I think it was 11-7. I think it was what it finished. I'm still in disbelief that I lost that game. Just that's what happens with these rain games. I talked about that with the Grom. There's some thunderstorms there. Games get a little weird. I think there were at least 2 delays in that Yankees game. But enough about that game. Jordan Montgomery has been pretty good. He's been a guy that we've been kind of waiting on for a couple of years now. He's been injured, so it's been hard to get a feel for him. But back in 2017, 155 innings, pitched to a 3.88 ERA. xERA and FIP are right around 4. So, if we were talking, if he made any progression, we'd see some better numbers, and then he threw like 80 innings over the next 3 years. So he didn't really know. This year, 82 innings so far this year. Like I said, he's thrown more innings this year than he threw in the last 3 combined. 4.06 ERA, 3.94 xERA, 3.55 FIP. So pretty similar numbers to what we saw. Maybe he's been a little bit better. 23.5% K rate to 6.8% walk rate. 34.5% hard hit rate. Has been giving up a little bit more barrels than we would like, but again, does not get hit hard. It's not really a ground ball guy. So there's no reason to think that his hard hit rate's inflated or anything like that. But yeah, he's been good. It was a matter of time with his Yankees bullpen or rotation was if they could stay healthy. I know Kluber's not, but Herman's in there. If they can stay on the field, Herman stayed on the field so far this year. Taillon has. He's been unlucky, but Montgomery has so far. Cole's, that's why their offense has started to get going here, and we're seeing the Yankees now still 8.5 games back of the Red Sox, but I'd like to say they're kind of turning it around. But I'm not exactly sure if they are. 41, just still 41-39. They're still kind of clinging on, but 5.5 games back of the wild card. So the Yankees got to get moving here. Montgomery is a good place to start. -155, like I said. Just got a Boston lineup confirmed. Sorry, got distracted there. Griffin Canning. He's difficult. Is he going right? Did I say him? Yeah, Griffin Canning, guy that I've liked in years past. But he's been really bad this year. I don't know what's going on. He's been bad the whole year. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a sticky substance thing. Like it's just the month of June was bad for him. 4.95 ERA. His xERA is 4.14. FIP though at 5.04. So yeah, depending which one you put stock in, who knows? But K's of 23.8. He's walking 10% hitters. Not what you want to see. He's a fly ball guy, getting hit a little bit harder than his career average. He's at 39% this year. Barrels at 8.7. He just doesn't. He just hasn't had it like good starts. He really struggled to start the year. He was struggling to go deeper into games. He's had a bunch of games where he's not really made it to the third inning. Has been solid his last 3 starts, only giving up 5 runs in 3 starts, and that's over 16 innings or so. So maybe a little bit of a turn here for Canning. He's a guy that I am interested to watch, but he just has really struggled. Home run ball has definitely got him early in the year. But the home run ball has been his problem. And when you walk, we talk about this. I think I've said this probably in 90% of the shows I've been on opening line so far this year. If you walk guys, the home run will kill you. Because again, you give up a single, you walk a guy, a home run, all of a sudden three runs are in, and it's just not good. He needs to figure out the walks. Again, he's getting a free swinging Yankees lineup, so that might help him. But this Yankees lineup's starting to kind of get things turning here. LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Voit, top 5 is ridiculous. And then you get to the bottom of Torres, Urshela, and Duhar and Gardner. It doesn't get much easier. That's a pretty good bottom, 4 guys in the lineup. Same with, like you said, we always say with the Angels, I think you're getting a top of the lineup is solid. Bottom is pretty bad. Phil Gonzalen hit a home run last night that I laughed at because that lineup was terrible. But yeah, I think at -160, I think this is about right. What do I make that? I'm right in there. I make this Yankees -161. The total in this one is 10. I think that's a little high. Now the wind's supposed to blow out. There's a day game. We'll see what lineups we get. Again, there are thunderstorms and it's supposed to rain. I don't even know if this game will get played. So there's really no reason to get too involved because I think it's supposed to rain most of the day in the Northeast here. So you might get another bullpen game, and who knows with that. So might get a little. That might be why it's a little juiced higher. Starters probably go shorter here. Wouldn't touch the total because of that. I do think if it was a normal game, there wasn't weather concerns, this number would probably be 9.5, maybe juiced down a little bit. But with the rain concerns and being a getaway day, they might try to prolong this one out to finish it. So nothing there for me. Like I said, I do like the total. Do like the under a little bit, but with the concerns about the weather, I'm staying away. Make it Yankees minus 161, so no edge there either. Seattle at Toronto. Yusei Kikuchi going against Ryu. Blue Jays minus 194 at home. Total this one 9.5. Kikuchi has been kind of good. We kind of like didn't know what we were going to get of him. 3.34 ERA, and that was xERA at 4.05. FIP 4.33. So we're definitely seeing some luck there with a 220 BABIP, 81.2% left on base percentage. Kind of the opposite of what we saw to last year. Last year he was very unlucky at a 5.17 ERA to a 3.42 xERA, 3.3 FIP. So maybe he's getting some even out, but 25% strikeouts, 26% strikeouts, 8.8% walks. He did fix his walks a little bit. He added Ks last year, but his walks were too high. He's increased his Ks again, and he's cut his walks down. Getting hit a little bit harder, which might be part of the issue of again, being in the zone more often. But it's not horrible. He does have a pretty low, he's a ground ball guy. So again, it could be inflated here. 41.3% hard hit rate, 8.5% barrel. But he has given up the home run, like 22.6% home run to fly ball rate. So when you're getting the ball up in the air on him, it seems to be leaving the park, and that's kind of been his issue. But he's managed to limit everything else, and we've seen some good good results so far. Ryu, again, another guy that just continues to go out there and pitch incredibly well. He has a career 3 ERA. I don't think people realize that. 3.41 so far this year, 3.91 xERA, 3.93 FIP. Strikeouts are concerning. They've dipped to the lowest, I think, of his career, or maybe since his rookie season. Early in his career, at the very lowest in 5 years. Still doesn't walk guys, so 5.3%, so that's good. Getting hit hard, the hardest he's been hit since 2016, 38.7% hard hit rate, career high 8.2% barrel rate. So there is a little bit of concern. Good thing for him is he's facing the Seattle Mariners lineup that is just not good. They did put up some runs yesterday against the Blue Jays, but we talked about this yesterday as well. They kind of stuck because they're playing young guys that they have to kind of play some lefties. So you get the lefty on lefty matchup against Ryu here. Whereas on the flip side, Blue Jays are probably going to have one lefty in the lineup in Mejia. They're going to have just a ton of righties going at Kikuchi today. Again, day game, we'll see what the lineups look like. There is some possible showers in Buffalo today. I made this game. I made it like Toronto minus 220. Not 220, 210, sorry. Ryu's kind of concerned. I don't know if I'm getting a good sample because, like I said, there's been a lot of issues with him. I didn't play it because of that. I do like the matchup for the Blue Jays offense, though. So maybe I'll end up adding a Toronto team total over here or something. Because I do like their matchup against Kikuchi today. I think Kikuchi's been lucky. I think he's going to come back to earth a little bit. This number is ticking down to minus 185. If it keeps going, I might have to jump on Toronto here. But it's a tough one because Kikuchi's made improvements. Ryu's looks like he's getting worse. It's kind of hard for me to get involved with these games for those reasons. Total in this one, I make 9.76. So nothing much for me there either. But like I said, the only thing that I would be probably interested in here is Toronto team total over, which this, again, like I said, it just got hit down into the mid 180s. So the team total is it's going to follow here. I think that's where the value lies. Nothing official here for me yet. I haven't bet anything, but I'll be keeping an eye on that Toronto team total as the day goes on, and maybe as we get a lineup confirmed, as that is a day game, and lineups can get a little wonky here. Kansas City at Boston. Bubic against Evaldi. Evaldi minus 227. Total in this one's 10. Nathan Evaldi. Proud owner of him on my Dynasty fantasy team. So I can say that I have believed in him. But I kept saying at the beginning of the year, if this guy can stay healthy, he's been filthy. The problem is he hasn't stayed healthy much. Definitely over the last 5 years, he kind of went to reliever role. I think that was that the year they won it? starter reliever role, that whatever he was for the Red Sox. But he's been good last year, 3.72 ERA. He did have a 4.18 xERA and a 3.87 FIP. But in that hitting climate, that's pretty solid this year. 3.67 ERA, 3.62 xERA, 2.64 FIP for Nathan Eovaldi this year. 22% K rate, doesn't walk guys, 5% walk rate, 5.5% barrel, 35.8% hard hit rate. So he's continuing. That's about his career norm, a little bit lower than for his hard hit rate, but he's barrel 5.5. Like, he's been getting barreled the last couple of years. This year, he's not. That's been the key. 5.2% home run to fly ball rate. So maybe we'd expect some home runs to come his way, and Kansas City's lineup can do that. There are some boppers in there. They're kind of a high variance team with the amount of home runs that they can hit. But Eovaldi's been just fantastic for the Red Sox. And, with Garrett Richards looking rough and Chris Sale taking a slow time to get back, Eovaldi's been a huge piece for them. On the flip side, Chris Bubich, 4.47 ERA this year, 5.62 xERA, and 5.44 FIP. He's been bad. 19.4% K rate to 11.4% walk rate, over 10% barrel rate, 45.5% hard hit rate. Not something you want to see. You're getting a good Red Sox lineup today. Verdugo, Martinez, Bogarts, Devers, Renfroe, Marwin Gonzalez, they're all in there. So you're getting a good, like I said, good Red Sox lineup there. 227. I think it's short. Now the lineup just got confirmed. Like I said, I think a couple games ago when I was going through it, I kind of want to go ahead on the Red Sox here. It's tough, but I do think they have a good lineup. I lean that way. Might end up adding them in at some point here after the show when I look into it, because we did get a good lineup. If Kansas City sits any of their guys, this number is going to go up as well. So I do lean Red Sox here, and after the show, maybe, who knows, maybe I add something here. Total in this one's 10, a little bit juice to the under. I make it 9.7, so that's about right. So yeah, nothing there for me, but I lean Red Sox. Might be a Red Sox team total kind of day. Probably not, because I like Eovaldi's matchup against this Royals lineup. So Boston is the lean there. Might add them later today. Minnesota at the Chicago White Sox. Berrios against Rodon. Rodon minus 142 at home. Total 8.5 with some juice to the under. The Twins just can't get it going. Got smoked last night. White Sox still hitting the crap out of the ball. I made the White Sox like 147 here, so not enough to play. Berrios, we talk about every he's just this like above average pitcher. He's not to above average the good pitcher every year. 3.41 ERA this year, which would be a career low, but 4.05 xERA, 3.4 FIP though. Strikeouts 26.5. That is a career high. He's managed 6.4% walks, so that's good as well. Getting barreled a little bit more than you would want, and what he's been for his career at 9.2%, 38.2% hard hit rate, which is higher than his 33.3% number as well. So it's tough. It's tough to get a read on him, because he does go out there and pitch pretty well, but he's just not the prospect that everybody thought he was going to be. And then on the flip side, Carlos Rodon is kind of this year being the prospect that everybody thought he was going to be when he came out of NC State, but injuries kind of derailed his career forever. But 2.06 ERA this year, 2.54 xERA, 2.59 FIP, so it's been a legit year for him. 36.2% K rate to a 7.7% walk rate, and he's not getting hit hard either. 37.7 or 3% hard hit rate, 7.1% barrel. You're getting a pitching matchup or advantage here for the White Sox, I think. Berrios, again, like I said, good pitcher. Lineups, I'm gonna say are probably even, maybe a slight edge to the White Sox, just because I don't know, like the Twins they just never seem to figure it out. I know it's more of a pitching issue than anything here, but let me check Rodon's spin rates here. because the White Sox have had a couple guys that have been spin rate down. I have to find the page. There you are. Rodon's spin rate. 2021. What happened here? There we go. His spin rates stayed about the same. There's been no issue there, so I wouldn't be shocked if his success continues. Again, he's just been throwing 90. What's his average fastball this year? 95.9. That's the highest of his career. He's just throwing a lot harder. Plain and simple. He's always had a really good slider. So, like I said, pitching advantage for the White Sox here. Lineups about even, maybe a slight lean to the White Sox. They're at home. That's why we're seeing this number in the -142. Like I said, I made it just a little bit, slight lean to the White Sox, but again, not enough of an edge to play it. Total, what are we at? 8.5. Juice to the under. I agree with that. I make this about 8.1. So no edge, but I do agree that 8.5 is a little high. When I would imagine this comes down to 8. Again, two good pitchers. These lineups have some holes, but they also they're pretty high variance because they can hit home runs. So we'll see. That is a day game as well. Who knows what we're getting with lineups. Guys could sit, and we'll see that total drop as well. Texas at Oakland. Dane Dunning and Sean Mejia. Mejia -164 at home. Total in this one, 8 juice to the under. I almost played BAs here. Still pretty close. I'm still thinking about it. Dane Dunning is interesting to me because I think he's better than what his numbers have shown. But and Texas has found a way to get some good success out of these guys. He gets hit a little bit too hard for me to get really excited about him. 24% K rate to an 8% walk is pretty solid. 7.3% barrel rate is fine. 45, like I said, 45.6% hard hit rate makes me nervous. His xERA 4.25 compared to the 4.63 ERA that he has, 3.25 FIP. So again, if you told me he's around a 4 pitcher, that's where all the public projection system have him. I think that's about right. I don't know. I don't know what to make of him because I think he's supposed to be better, but we just haven't seen the results yet. Since the spider tech thing, he's had a couple rough starts, but he had some rough starts before them. He seems like a guy who just has a big blow up potential. Probably needs to get the walks down because the strikeouts have been down a little bit. It's just tough for me to get a read on him. Then Sean Mejia, a guy that I've liked for a couple of years, is kind of putting together his best season. 2.91 ERA, 3.72 xERA, 3.02 FIP, 25.1% K rate, 6.3% walk rate. Doesn't get barreled at 5.7% so far this year, 40.2% hard hit rate. You have a pitching advantage with Oakland, right? I think you have a lineup advantage with Oakland at the very least. Yeah, I think you have a lineup advantage with Oakland. And Oakland's at home. So, this is trickled down to, low 160s. I think that number's short. Again, Oakland might be something I add here. And Dunning, I think, should be better than what he is. So that's kind of making me gun shy here. But I think the A's have value here. The total here, what did I say? 8, juiced a little bit to the under. I like the over a little bit there. Not playing it again because Dunning, I'd rather just play the A's than play the over here. But I make this about 8.5. But again, I think I'm underrating Dunning a little bit. It'll be again, day game. Just gonna hold off, see what the lineups are, and then maybe I'll pull the trigger on Dunning. It's just, I don't know. It's tough to get a read on him because the results just have not been there, and the underlying metrics kind of show something that he should be better, and we just haven't seen it yet. So Oakland is my lean right now, over as well, if you like that side. But I'll be holding off for Oakland and waiting for lineups to confirm if I want to hop on there. Houston at Cleveland, Valdez against Mejia. Houston up to about -180 favorite. Total in this one's 8.5. Framber Valdez is one of the more interesting pitchers that I think I've ever seen. 2.11 ERA this year, xERA 3.04, FIP is 3.63. 240 BABIP. You would like to think that that's probably lucky. I don't know. He's 71% ground ball rate, so he's going to have a lower BABIP. That's what we've seen time and time again from extreme pitchers. He does have a 23.5% home run to fly ball rate, which is kind of common against extreme ground ball guys. If you do get it up in the air against them, it tends to go over the fence. While being an extreme ground ball pitcher, and I mean extreme, 71%, there's not many guys that get to 71% ground balls, 22.6% K percentage to a 5.8 walk percentage. So he's not walking guys. And he is getting a decent amount of strikeouts. Now, his hard hit rate, you're going to look at it, 45.4%. Oh, you should be worried. Again, ground ball pitchers tend to have higher hard hit rates because ground balls tend to be hit harder. 3.7% barrel rate is what's really interesting to me. His launch angle for his career is minus 2.5. This year, it's minus 6.2. So when I say extreme ground ball pitcher, he is an absolute extreme ground ball pitcher. We haven't really seen anything like him. I don't think there's really a pitcher like him right now in the game. JC Mejia on the mound for the Indians. I'm not. He's an interesting guy, to say the least. I don't really know. He's pitched 5 starts. He does have 3 relief appearances. He's only gone 23 innings, 3 and 2/3, but he has stretched out. He's gone 4, 5, and 6 in his last 3 starts. So it looks like he can build up to, up to 6. Maybe we can get a little bit more than 6. I doubt it with how the Indians run things. But in those starts, he's been pretty good. He did get roughed up by Pittsburgh, but outside of that, and he did get roughed up by St. Louis. But he had a good start against solid start against Baltimore, 4 innings, 2 runs. He had another solid start against Baltimore, 3 innings, no runs, as in his first start of the year. I think he's solid. I think he's better than his 4.94 ERA for sure. His xERA 4.49, FIP is 3.29, so those metrics agree as well. You'd like to see his walks go down, but 39.1% hard hit rate, 4.7% barrel rate. He does not get hit hard. Launch angle isn't too high either, 2.7, despite only have a 45.3% ground ball rate. So that is pretty interesting to see. Left on base percentage is 59.5. So it just seems that literally anybody that gets on this year is scoring against him. That being said, I think this number is short, sorry, I think this number's long. Cleveland at 165. What number can you get on them right now? Yeah, 163 in that range. I think that's a good number to bet. I'm not betting them yet because Valdez is just so extreme that I'm probably going to wait out and see what we're going to get out of him. But if this does run up, Cleveland, I think, has the value here because I think Mejia is better than what we think. Valdez is really good. So you're getting a pitching matchup advantage with Houston. You're getting a lineup advantage with Houston. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Indians are better. Again, but my guy, Bobby Bradley, he's actually been tearing it up, hitting 5th. But the bottom of that lineup is not something I'm excited about. Top of the lineup is, okay. But the Astros lineup is just better. Indians at home, though, 164 just seems like a long, just too high of a number. I can't really get behind that. I make the total about 8.7. If I'm assuming that I'm a little underrating Valdez because again we haven't had a huge sample on him. Again, only 216 innings with again 37 of those, a lot of them I should say coming in relief. His first 2 years, so it's we only have like maybe 100 and I don't know what you want to say, 180, 170 in starter innings here. So no play in a total. Like I said, Cleveland in this one, I lean, but I'm probably going to stay away because there's not enough known on really either of these pitchers. And I think Valdez is just so far from the norm that he might just not be captured well by my model here. But 164 in that range, I think the Indians have some value. That's the final game. Let's go best bet. Oh, what number? Are the numbers all still here? All right, that's still there. Phillies is still there. I'm not doing the Pirates, but that number's gone. The Pirates are down to 205. I talked about how I thought the Pirates that Burns number because of the issues with spin rate and the Pirates lineup being better. What's the best number out there? 212 is I'm saying the best number on Pittsburgh. Like I said, that number's gone, so Pittsburgh won't be my best bet. And all right, so 3 of the 4. I'm going to go Rockies. It's kind of painful, but Rockies, I played a plus 110. There's some plus 114 out there. You can probably even find a better number out there. Like I said, Sensatella has been much better at home. They figured something out. Best number out there is 114. You can get some 113, but 110. I'd play this probably about to 103, 104 in that range. I think the Rockies have value. Sensatella, better at home. The Rockies just play much better at home. They're 6-31 on the road. They're 27-16 at home or something, 28-16 at home. I think we talked about it yesterday. They play at home to like 103 win pace, 104 win pace. At home, they're playing to on the road, they're playing to a 22 win pace over the full season, just to put in perspective of how bad they've been or how drastic their splits are between home and road. But that's it for me today. Like I said, we've been broadcasting on Twitch and YouTube at Elite Betting on Twitch, Elite Sports Network on YouTube. Please hit the follow and the subscribe links on those. Follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the show, if you missed the start, these will be up on Twitch. These will be up on Periscope. These will be up on YouTube. Any of the 3 platforms, you can go back and look. Duke has been putting up soccer content on the YouTube channel as well, so head on over there to check out the soccer for the Euro Championship that I believe start up tomorrow, the quarterfinals. But yeah, technical difficulties. Thanks for sticking with us. Frank and me and Dream, one combination of those, all of us or a combination of us, will be back tomorrow, bringing down the MLB slate on the opening line. That is it for me. Good luck on your bets. Go Phillies, go Pirates, go Reds, go Rockies. Boston is a play that I'm thinking of adding. Oakland is a play of thinking of adding. So keeping an eye on those as we get lineups here, as we get closer to lock. So that is it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow. Good luck on your bets for the rest of today.